With Alert Day coverage now, this is Wave News.
Good morning, and you're waking up watching road conditions deteriorate very quickly this morning. Here's a live look at a crash involving a JCPS bus. This is on 264 westbound near Dixie Highway near Crumbs Lane. You can see emergency responders already there on the scene. Reports of other cars spinning out in that area, so please be careful as you are on the roads this morning, seeing things deteriorate very quickly.
Yeah, and that's not all. Plus, a crash causing real problems in Bullitt County. This is a live look at the Trimark cameras in Shepherdsville, where a backup is on I-65 northbound. Now, this goes all the way to the North Preston Highway. Look at that out there with the taillights. You can see the snow on the highway. It is still coming down. We've reached out to Shepherdsville Police to learn more information.
And dozens of school districts keeping students home as those travel conditions deteriorate. JCPS is open, though. That's one of the buses involved there in that spin-out crash that we saw there. And we have an updated list of closings, delays, NTI days, all of that on wave3.com.
Yeah, and this really turning to a major mess this morning. Tawana, the system is not coming at a good time for people looking to get out to schoolwork. Maybe an early appointment couldn't happen at a worse time.
It could not happen at a worse time, and this is why we issued the alert day out for this morning. We have the winter weather advisory in place until noon. The storm tracker has been out on the roads, and where he is, thankfully, traveling northbound on 65, not dealing with any significant issues. But for those of you further to the south, this is where we're running into more of those problems because, one, you've had more of that precipitation for longer this morning, and two, you've been dealing anything from sleet to freezing rain to snow going back and forth as the morning continues. So what we're dealing with in the metro right now, seeing more of that sleet and snow with a little bit of freezing rain trying to mix in our southernmost parts of the Louisville metro. For those of you further to the east, it's mainly snow as of right now with some sleet trying to mix in. We're dealing with sleet and freezing rain for those of you south of Louisville with some more of that wintry mix for those of you all the way towards Greene and Taylor County. So we're going to keep that mix around throughout the morning. Once temperatures warm up a little bit more as we head into the afternoon, we'll switch over to just a plain old cold rain, but pavement temperatures are near or below freezing, and this is why we could run into even more issues as the morning goes along. Olivia?
And we'll keep an eye on it. Thank you, Tawana. With the extremely cold temperatures and possible snowfall this morning and this weekend, White Flag shelters are preparing for a busy stretch. Shelter at places like Wayside Christian Mission and the Salvation Army are open this morning. The Salvation Army is on South Brook Street. It's available for single men and women. And if you call to make a reservation between 10 a.m. and 1 p.m., you can guarantee yourself a bed. Wayside Christian Mission is on East Jefferson Street. No reservations are required. It's a first come, first served basis. They can hold about 200 people with 100 getting mats. 2 day warming shelters will also be operating this weekend. Hope Rescued is offering a center on Garfield Avenue. It'll be open this Saturday and Sunday from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Exodus Family Ministries will also be offering a center this Saturday, January 24th through Tuesday, January 27th. That center will be open from 10:30 in the morning through 4 p.m. You can go to LouisvilleKY.org to see a full list of additional neighborhood places offering warm shelters during normal business hours.
In times when snow snow is falling and the temperatures are below freezing, emergencies, they pop up a lot more times than usual. Because of that, the Metro has released guidelines on when to call 311. Calls to report a non-emergency snow like hazard, like snow piles blocking a road entrance, when a traffic light is out or blinking, when a traffic sign is covered or knocked over, and when you need assistance reading the online snow route map. They ask that you not call when a power line's down and appears dangerous, but instead, that's when you want to call 911. Don't call for a power outage, a non-injury car crash, or a driver in a stuck car, and when snow's on a sidewalk, driveway, or there's downed trees.
JCPS leaders are working to dig the district out of a multi-million-dollar deficit. On Tuesday, the Jefferson County Board of Education took a big step toward that goal by unanimously voting to accept the 2026-27 draft budget.
Wave News reporter Marissa Burke explains what cuts are included and what parents can expect. Marissa, good morning.
Good morning. Tuesday's vote was a hurdle for this draft proposal, but it's still in the early stages of the budget process. Here's what we know about the proposed cuts. JCPS is looking at cutting $142 million in the following departments and areas. The biggest cuts are at central office. $44 million set to be slashed. With that comes eliminating 300 positions in central office. $13 million in cuts will be in transportation and operations. Other cuts include $41 million from school budget funds that are not directly tied to student instruction, then $30 million from ongoing union negotiations. The board also approved the closures of King Elementary and Zachary Taylor Elementary. We caught up with longtime board member Linda Duncan, who says these decisions are hard to make.
This one is just very emotional too, because these people are people that, that it affects people that we know and have worked with. And it's just, I think, a very difficult time for them and for us until all this gets settled.
If you are a parent of a student that attends King Elementary or Zachary Taylor, they have a transition plan for you guys. They are focused on prioritizing school choice and localized school options. Families from both of those schools will receive priority status in the school choice process. There are more steps for JCPS leadership in this budget process. Next, they'll work to apply feedback from board members, schools, and the community as they work toward a tentative budget. Then they'll bring that budget to the board in May. Marissa Burke, Wave News.
Okay, Marissa, thanks so much. Happening today, a man who Metro leaders say has been arrested for wire thefts around Louisville will be arraigned in court a little bit later this morning. The arrest comes following a report about wire cutting removed in Louisville. Detectives from Louisville Metro Alcoholic Beverage Control arrested 50-year-old Noah Duke. This happened on Tuesday morning. Officials say that Duke stole wire on Harrod's Old Trace Sunday, January the 18th. On Tuesday, detectives say they found Duke with the tools they believe that were used to cut that wire. Duke's charged with attempted theft, trespassing, reckless driving, and other offenses related to wire theft.
A teenager is accused of killing a pregnant Louisville woman. Officers say Jeremiah Offit was shot and killed near 41st and West Broadway near the Three Brothers Food Mart back in August. Offit was a mother to 3 children and pregnant with her 4th. Police say a 16-year-old was arrested and charged with murder, fetal homicide, wanted endangerment, and tampering with evidence. Police are not releasing his name, though, because he's a minor. Another man, Danny's Lee Jr., is also charged in connection to the shooting.
Watching Frankfort now, the Crystal Rogers case could impact grand jury testimony in the state of Kentucky. That's moving forward. State Representative Candy Massaroni from Bardstown introduced House Bill 305 in Frankfort. The bill would extend the statute of limitations for recording during grand jury proceedings. During the investigation into Crystal Rogers' disappearance, it was discovered that Brooks Houck and Houck's family secretly recorded grand jury proceedings. It's illegal to record in a grand jury, but by the time that the recordings were uncovered, the statute of limitations of 1 year, they'd already expired. The bill would extend the limit to some 10 years and make the crime a misdemeanor. Houck, meanwhile, was found guilty to conspiracy to murder and tampering with evidence and sentenced later to life in prison.
Also happening in Frankfort, a bill to limit the governor's power to issue pardons is taking a step forward. The Kentucky Senate approved the proposed constitutional amendment. The measure would pause the governor's power to issue pardons and commutations starting 60 days before our gubernatorial election. The ban would continue until the next governor is inaugurated. The bill still needs approval from the House, but if it passes, Kentucky voters will see the measure on the general election ballot. Representatives from the Department of Juvenile Justice are looking at a new plan to help young people here in Kentucky. It comes as the way troubleshooters have been following problems at detention centers for years. The DJJ is proposing building a new facility that would allow the department to meet kids and teens' critical mental health needs. The department is requesting $35 million in funding for a mental health treatment facility. Department leaders say it would fill gaps in already available services for children suffering from serious mental health issues.
Currently, there are no alternative placements for youth who are ordered to detention and need psychiatric care. Psychiatric hospitals are not required to accept DJJ youth, which results in these youth remaining housed in detention, even though detention centers cannot provide appropriate care for youth who require hospitalization for severe mental illness.
So requesting 2 new centers for girls. The state only has 1, and that's in Boyd County.
Okay, and taking a look at the big picture this morning, how are we going to sum this up? How about just a big mess out there? A crash near Eastern Parkway. It is causing major problems on I-65 northbound. Now, that backup goes to the Watterson ramps. The Gene Snyder also seeing slowdowns all across the interstate. And right now, we want to give you another look at the crash on the Shawnee Expressway. Take a look at that mess. You can see a bus and another car involved. Now, that's just west of Dixie Highway. JCPS says that the car slid into the bus. We've learned just recently that 3 students were on board, but luckily nobody was hurt. It is still causing major backups out there this morning. Just take it easy and give yourself a lot of extra time.
Absolutely, especially because things have changed so quickly, and we're going to keep an eye on this throughout the morning too.
Yeah, absolutely. As we move on this morning, though, measles cases, they are on the rise all throughout the United States.
We have more on a new case in Kentucky and why federal health officials say they're worried about the country losing its measles elimination status. And we're keeping a close eye on the weather as it develops this morning. But the good news, at least, it's eventually going to get better.
Yeah, but it's going to get a little dicier before it gets better.
Yeah, because we are going through a situation right now where we saw temperatures start to warm up, but now that we're getting closer to sunrise, our temperatures are starting to drop back down. So a lot of us are still hovering near that freezing mark, and we're dealing with this wintry mix across the area. Winter weather advisory still in place across the region. This goes until noon. Our alert day goes until noon too, by the way. And with temperatures dropping, we're starting to see a little bit more of that snow snow mixing in across parts of our region, but it's still mainly that wintry mix, seeing that showing up in the metro from sleet to freezing rain to snow across Louisville right now. That is a stretch into portions of Floyd County and southern parts of Clark County. The northern fringes of wave country, you haven't seen a drop of anything this morning. From Carroll County all the way towards Frankfort, you're seeing that sleet, that snow as of right now, and we're seeing much of the same anywhere from parts of Spencer County all the way south, more of that wintry mix with some of that freezing drizzle and sleet showing up from Shepherdsville to E-Town down towards Litchfield as well, and much of the same all the way from Greensburg over towards Campbellsville. So certainly dealing with that wintry mix to start off the day, all because of this massive system that is moving across the Ohio Valley. Once that cold front that's off towards our west finally moves through later on tonight, that is when we'll get the chance to dry out. But notice we're seeing the snow, the sleet, the freezing rain showing up on our cameras in Breckenridge, Grayson, and Carroll County, while we're seeing some sunshine already coming up over the horizon in Adair County. So a little bit different going on for those of you further to the south. Notice in terms of the current pavement temperatures, a lot of us are still below the freezing mark, and we're seeing all of those travel issues anywhere from the metro southward, especially on many portions of the parkways because of it. Your air temperatures are right around freezing in most spots. So that's also why we're seeing a mix. We're dealing with wind gusts right now between 20 and 30 miles per hour. So that is going to help to lower visibility, especially for those of you seeing more of that sleet and snow falling across your area. Once we get into later on this morning in the afternoon, more of those gusts near 30, in some cases near 35 miles per hour will be possible. The wind will start to calm down for later on tonight. Now, we're also going to keep an eye on more of that wintry mix across our region throughout the rest of the morning. Temperatures do climb above freezing once we get towards lunch in most spots, and that should allow us to go from that mix over to a cold rain. When we get further into the afternoon, just talking about that rain moving out of our region with temperatures maxing out in the low 40s in most spots. And once we get into the overnight hours, once that front moves through, we'll drop down into the 20s. For tomorrow, talking about 30s across the region with a mix of sun and clouds. Cold on your Friday. The alert day is still in place for Saturday, Sunday, and into Monday as well as we watch this next area of low pressure. This is what's going to bring that potential for some significant snowfall across parts of our region. But the track of the low will be key. So we are still looking at significant accumulations possible. We'll also keep an eye on that potential for some of the heavier snow in some spots. Exactly where, as I mentioned, dependent on the track of the low. And we are going to be looking at some travel impacts, especially as temperatures drop. We do look to stay below the freezing mark all the way through next week. We'll also be watching for some of these lows across parts of our region down to near zero. Some of you will see sub-zero actual temperatures as we head into several mornings next week. So that's something else that we have to keep a close eye on as we head over the next 10 days. So the amount of snow that we're going to be dealing with will dictate how cold our temperatures are as we head into next week. So we'll watch that very closely over the next 10 days. Rob?
Wow, busy is an understatement. Tawana, thank you so much. And we're continuing to watch a backup develop. This is in Bullitt County. This is a live look at the Trimark cameras in Shepherdsville on I-65 North. Trimark says this was caused by a two-car crash earlier. Traffic is now on Ohm Drive. We will continue to watch this traffic headache this morning. And further down I-65 near Lebanon Junction, there is also a developing backup there as well. And we're also monitoring right now a crash in Lebanon Junction, I-65 South. Shut down going toward E-Town. You can see the flashing light from first responders. Take a look at that. We're trying to learn more going north or south on I-65. No doubt you are going to run into some problems. And we want to give you another look at this crash on the Shawnee Expressway. Look at the backup there. You can see a bus and another car involved in this mess. This is the area we're talking about just west of Dixie Highway. JCPS says that the car slid into the bus. 3 students on board at the time. Luckily, nobody was hurt. It is still causing a major backup throughout the morning.
Certainly, wherever you are, you want to be careful.
Absolutely
no matter what.
so.
Well, federal health officials say they're not worried about the U.S. losing its status as a country that has eliminated measles.
Yeah, this comes as more cases pop up around the country, including right here in Kentucky. The comments from the CDC come as a measles outbreak in South Carolina grows to more than 640 cases overall. They're were more than 2,200 measles cases in 2025. That's the most in the country since 1991. In 2000, the disease was declared eliminated by the United States, but the Pan American Health Organization could change the U.S. status when it meets in April.
This week also marks 1 year since the largest measles outbreak in the U.S. in decades. West Texas recorded more than 760 cases and 2 deaths before declaring the outbreak over. Since then, new measles cases have showed up in places across the U.S. every week. But large outbreaks in South Carolina and the Utah-Arizona border region are still growing, with the majority of cases among people who were not fully vaccinated.
Here in Kentucky, officials have confirmed a second case of measles. The Cabinet for Health and Family Services says this case involves yet another child under the age of 5 in Jessamine County. We don't know if that child was in fact vaccinated. It comes less than a week after the first case was reported. State health officials are urging everyone that's not vaccinated to get a shot, as the disease is highly contagious. Just ahead this morning for you, Red Cross announcing a severe blood shortage in the United States, and that's happening right now.
Where you can donate to save a life today, that's coming up after the break.
And your time now is 7:21. Welcome back to you. Right now, it is more important than ever to donate blood, and that's because the American Red Cross declared a severe blood shortage.
And today you can roll up your sleeves and give blood for the chance to win Super Bowl tickets, plus some more local tickets. The Louisville Bats teaming up with the American Red Cross to host a blood drive. That's happening from 10 to 3 at Louisville Slugger Field. All blood donors will receive 4 ticket vouchers for reserved seats to any Louisville Bats home game during the 2026 season. That does not include Thunder at Slugger Field, though. If you donate, you'll also be entered for a chance to win a trip for 2 to the Super Bowl in Santa Clara, California. You can register right now by clicking on the link in this story on our website, wave3.com. And we'll continue to keep you updated on that wintry mix that's coming down in our area. Certainly want to keep up with that.
It is relentless. Stay with us. We'll have a lot more coming up after the break.
This Wave News Update is sponsored by Oxmoor Auto Group.
Morning, especially on the roads as well. We're continuing to watch a backup develop in Bullitt County. We have a live look at the Trimark camera in Shepherdsville on I-65 North. This was caused by a two-car crash. The traffic is now on Ohm Drive. We will continue to watch this traffic headache this morning. Further down I-65 near Lebanon Junction, also a developing backup there. We're also monitoring for you this morning a crash, this one in Lebanon Junction. I-65 South is shut down going toward E-Town. You can see the flashing light from the first responders. We're trying to learn more, and going north or south on 65, more problems. And we also want to give you another look at a crash on the Shawnee Expressway. We have a bus and another car involved just west of Dixie Highway. JCPS says the car slid into the bus. 3 students were on board. Nobody was hurt. A major backup there this morning. Tawana, what's it looking like out there right now?
Yeah, we're continuing to deal with a whole lot across the region for this morning, including pavement temperatures at or below the freezing mark. This is why we're running into all the issues that we are dealing with, especially with this wintry mix going on. So we're seeing some snow and sleet in some spots, some freezing rain in others of the metro. We've been going back and forth between that sleet, that snow, that freezing rain throughout the morning. Much of the same for those of you further to the east and south is where we've had more of that freezing rain and drizzle throughout the morning with that sleet. And this is where we're running into even more of those issues south of Louisville. Your air temperatures are near the freezing mark in most spots. Seeing wind gusts right now between 20 and 30 miles per hour. As we get over the next 12 hours, we'll be watching those gusts near 30 to 35 miles per hour at times. This is going to push your temperatures into the 40s for afternoon highs, and we're watching more of that wintry mix around as we get throughout this morning, switching to a cold rain for later on this afternoon.
Good morning, and thanks so much for staying with us here for Sunrise Extra. I'm Olivia Russell. Of course, the weather, the big headline this morning. We have been keeping on top of this all morning, and I want to take a live look right now at the Trimark cameras around Louisville because you can see things are just becoming a mess out there. As we take a closer look, this is what we look at every morning, actually, just so you at home know what to look for too, because I know so many times people are wondering, what's the weather looking like? What's the traffic situation looking like? And when we're telling you what's going on out there, this is what we are looking at. So right now you can see the mess is really along I-265 and then 65 moving north. And then as we get down closer to Bullitt County, things are even worse there, even a closure in Lebanon Junction. So let's start with how we see these alerts. So as we're focused in on Louisville, the right side is showing the crashes that are coming in. So right now a crash at 65 southbound. This is at near Jefferson or approaching Jefferson County. We can even take a live look usually at some of these cameras to see what they're looking at. And we can pull up the cameras if we click on that button right there. So yeah, really just a mess going on out there. Here's a crash at 65 North near Grade Lane, and you can see emergency vehicles already there. It looks like a car that has probably spun out because it's facing the wrong way in that area. And let's also check in here. It looks like we had a crash earlier that was at I-260. Actually, this is I-265 at New Cut Road. Yeah, more vehicles just off to the shoulder on the right side. And you can see the shoulders are snow covered this morning. That's really your big concern right now too, especially with those shoulders if you have to pull off. So keep an eye on that. And then we also had a report of a crash. I'm going to play around with the cameras right here because we had a JCPS bus involved in the crash. This camera, wow, it looks like that cleared just within the past few minutes. So a JCPS bus was involved in a crash this morning that has since been cleared. We heard 3 people were on that bus. No students were injured in that. Reports that another car slid into that JCPS bus. Now, JCPS is open this morning, hearing a lot of reports of trouble out on the roads. Here's another look at a crash at 264 at Crumbs Lane. Just, again, a mess. And you can check out these cameras live on your own as you are going over to the Trimark website. Again, this is what we look at every single morning. So you can keep an eye on that. But right now we want to send things out to Wave News reporter Marissa Burke. She is in the storm tracker this morning. And Marissa, what are you seeing? Where are you right now?
The Gene Snyder exit. We are slowly approaching, as you can imagine, with all the traffic and backups that we're seeing. So this is just what it looks like for us right now. But one of the things that we are noticing is, like you said, there are a lot of crashes, a lot of spin outs happening, and first responders are having a hard time getting through all of the traffic. So just keep that in mind if you do have to get out and about, that you see those lights behind you, figure out a safe way to get over, because there are a lot of people in need. We actually passed a person who had just slid off the interstate because we saw them getting out of their car, and luckily there were some bystanders who pulled over to help that person out. So again, be careful if you do have to drive. And I know we talk about how big the storm tracker is. The storm tracker is even having some issues in certain spots and sliding. So just keep that in mind. No car is really safe from the road conditions that we're seeing out right now. So just keep that in mind if you have to get out this morning. We're going to continue heading. We're now turning onto the Gene Snyder. So we'll keep you in the loop, Olivia, but I'm going to send it back to you right now.
Well, Marissa, we have plenty of time to catch up here and talk because we have some questions coming in on Facebook right now. And for anyone watching us right now, feel free to comment and ask your questions out there. People are wondering why school isn't closed. JCPS is open right now. We do have a handful of school closures and delays this morning, but have you seen any school buses out there this morning, Marissa?
It's still a little dark. I see a lot of trucks out right now. I'm going to flip the camera around. Not in the direction that we are in. We haven't seen any school buses, but that's not to say that they are not out here. So that is just me being 100% transparent that I have not personally seen any, but that's not to say they're not here.
Right, right. And what about any snow plows or salt trucks out there? Have you seen any of those treating the roads?
I think I saw one heading into work, but we have not seen any snow plows or trucks as we have been out in the past 10 minutes from me hopping in the storm tracker and heading this way.
And it looked like as we were looking out the front windshield there of the storm tracker, you will have a pretty decent path of what seems to be a little bit clear, but if you go off that little path, the shoulders, especially even in between lanes, look pretty snow covered. Is that consistent with what you're seeing this morning?
You are spot on, Olivia. We are most definitely seeing like the medians and stuff covered. Looks like there's at least a good lane to be in, but it's again, you know, those sneaky spots with the how Tawana's explained what's happening to the ground with the freezing temperatures. So you really want to be careful if you are out this morning.
Absolutely. Well, Marissa, thank you so much. We're actually going to take a break. I want to catch up with you again in about 5 minutes too, to get updates on where you're traveling to throughout Louisville, but wherever you are headed. Again, we'll check in with you soon, see where you are and how things are going, but please, please, please be safe out there.
Will do. Talk to you soon.
All right. Thank you, Marissa. And again, we will check in with her in just about 2 minutes. And we're going to talk about some of those school closings, some delays. JCPS is open this morning. Again, we're seeing a lot of comments on that right now on Facebook, but please feel free to ask your questions and we might be able to share some of those questions and comments, hopefully get some answered for you here on Sunrise Extra, but we'll be right back with plenty more traffic updates, snow or school closures and delays. We'll even take a look at some flight statuses coming out of Louisville's airport. Stick with us. And thanks for staying with us here for Sunrise Extra. I'm Olivia Russell. We want to start, of course, with some traffic issues out there as we take a look at our Trimark cameras and map on the website for Team Kentucky. Right now, getting reports of a crash on 65 South near Joe Prather Highway. This is in Hardin County. As we take a live look at their traffic camera, I can make it really big right here. Looks like a semi-truck involved in that one and a passenger vehicle kind of illuminated. You can see people standing right by it. It looks pretty banged up right now. All lanes are blocked in this area. This is just one of the traffic issues we're seeing out there. Bullitt County seeing more significant closures and issues right now. And a lot of this really south of Louisville and Bullitt County. That's where reports started to come in for us earliest this morning. So we have another report of a crash on 65 North near East 4th Street in Bullitt County. It looks like they have the right lane and right shoulder blocked in this one. And please keep an eye on this. This is just the traffic map. Yeah, I-265 right now in Louisville, a mess. So this is a picture from near Preston Highway. Look at that backup right there, the shoulders. You really don't have much wiggle room there to get out of your lane as you're driving on these areas. And it looks like the very middle of your screen there, I'm kind of circling it with my mouse, looks like a car that is in the grassy median. So please be careful. And you can check out the Trimark cameras for yourself at home if you want to get a live look at what your route to work looks like. And surprisingly, it actually looks like the area of 71 really north of 64, pretty good condition right now, but south of it, especially along the Watterson and the Snyder, really a mess right now. And one of the crashes that happened this morning involved a JCPS bus. JCPS is in school this morning, but we have a number of closings and delays. So taking you to our WAVE website where we have a list of all those closings and delays. You see that that orange banner there at the top of your screen. A lot of things coming in this morning. Anchorage Public Schools opening on a 2-hour delay. Bardstown City Schools virtual learning this morning. Bullitt County virtual learning this morning. We have Oldham County Schools also closed for NTI. So here's the list of all of those virtual learning days, some of the closures and delays. Please keep an eye on this. We keep this updated regularly. So the school administrators can even log in themselves, and they are who put this in that information in there. But again, Jefferson County Public Schools is open this morning, getting a lot of questions on why is Jefferson County Public Schools open this morning. I don't have the answer for that. We didn't get any information from them, but we did learn that a bus was involved in a crash. It looks like things have cleared out from that crash. But as we take you to our WAVE weather tab on our website, Tawana has been updating this. The good news is that it looks like things are going to warm up though within just a few hours. So maybe later in the day, if you have plans, that could be a better time to head out for you. So please keep up with that. And as we take a quick look at our flight status here at SDF, it looks like everything is on time this morning. So that's good to see, especially at the airport. We want to keep things on time this morning. But now I want to check in with Marissa again. She is live in the storm tracker this morning and giving us a look at what we're seeing across the metro. And Marissa, we checked in with you a few minutes ago. How are things now? Where are you?
So we are still heading on the Gene Snyder, but now this is the thing. The storm tracker is hitting a lot of those slick spots. So I said this earlier, and I'm going to reiterate this again. It does not matter your car. It is clearly that there is some ice under the snow. So you need to be careful if you're going to be out here. Like the storm tracker is a beast of a car and it's heavy. So if it's experiencing a little bit of sliding, I can only imagine what little cars are going to be going through. We're only hitting about 6 miles per hour right now, and we're still having those little moments of sliding ourselves. I think the most that we could get up to was maybe a little bit of 10, 15 when traffic was moving a little faster. But again, this is what we're faced with. Really kind of bumper to bumper. It looks like everything is almost like a parking lot when you see how many cars are out on the roads and not really doing too much moving. So Olivia, it is getting a little bit worse, I would say, when you see that there's still some snow coming down, the ground is cold, there's ice under there. So people really need to be careful while they're heading out this morning.
Wow. And yeah, it looks like you have a path with tires that have kind of paved the way for you, but you're saying there's ice under that, even that slick?
Yes.
Oh,
see,
yep.
Like we're not going fast. You see what we're talking about. We are not going fast at all. And Flynn is a great driver in the storm tracker. So this is not a user error or anything like that. It is truly the conditions outside.
How would you describe other drivers out there? Usually when we get this kind of weather, we get some people who are impatient, they're tailgating. Does it look like people are at least being patient and cautious and respectful out there on the roads?
I would say you probably have a mixed bag of both the safe drivers and the people who might still be in that little bit of that morning rush, got to get to work, trying to get there. We've seen a few people kind of trying to get around and pass in the lanes that have that extra snow coverage, like you were noting with us having that tire patch. But again, most people know we're all in the same boat right now. We're all trying to get to our destinations. We're all just trying to get there as safe as possible. Not too many patches of people driving fast. I think everyone is really just trying to get to their destinations as best as possible, even if that means as slow as possible, if you know what I mean, Olivia.
Yes, and those employers, please give some grace to your employees as they're traveling on that this morning. It's not just about your safety, it's about the safety of others too. We definitely want to make sure my friends Marissa and Flynn are safe in the storm tracker as well this morning. Marissa, thank you so much for joining us, and please be safe out there. Take it slow. I know you said you're only going about 5 or 6 miles per hour though.
Will do, Olivia.
All right. Thank you, Marissa. And we're going to take another quick break. We're going to be back in just about 2 minutes with one last look at traffic, because that's the big issue that people are wondering this morning. How are the roads looking? We can tell you they're not looking good, especially in southern parts of the metro. But we'll be right back in just 2 minutes. Good morning. And as you're stepping outside, you are definitely seeing the snowfall that came down this morning, and it really hit during rush hour. So as we take one last look at our TriMark cameras, you can see, especially along the Gene Snyder, really messy out there right now. Traffic at a standstill. If you look at that traffic camera right now, all the brake lights, and it's not just 100% because of crashes. We do have plenty of crashes and spinouts this morning, but a lot of that is people just driving slowly, trying to take their time. You can even see cars pulled off onto the shoulders right there. We've seen cars in the median this morning, and really a mess. So please take it easy. Yeah, you can see how they have almost a path of where cars have carved out a little path forward, but still cars sliding off those roads, those shoulders, very cold and icy this morning. So things really south in the metro are having issues, especially as we get down into Bullitt and Harding County. We do have a closure there of 65 southbound. This is near Joe Prather Highway. As we take another live look there, semi trucks involved in this crash. No idea how long that's going to be closed down, but that will also certainly create some traffic disruptions this morning. But really north of 64 looking good this morning. Southern Indiana, you're in the clear right now, but please, no matter where you are, you want to take things easy. And we want to go back to Marissa Burke one last time, because she's been in our storm tracker. And again, we've seen cars driving slow all morning. And Marissa, you say that you all have gone not just slow, but extremely slow.
Yes, we are going about 4 miles per hour. And just to give you a look outside right now, it has been coming down more and more. And the conditions are not getting any better on the road. We're hitting again those little patches where you'll feel a little bit of sliding, and we are not going fast. I want to reiterate that. So just be careful if you do have to head out today. You see how the roads are looking. You can see how there are some tire marks, but you see how they're also getting covered as more snow continues to fall. And then under that are layers of ice, because like Tawana has explained this morning, the road is already cold. Then you add the snow, and then look right next to us. Let me see if I can get the camera to see this school bus passing us right now.
Oh,
there it is. You see it.
There we
coming
go.
Up.
Yeah.
There she is. That's about the second bus that we've seen. So just be careful if you do have to head out. I think I see some stuff on that bus, so there might be some kids on there. So guys, if you do have to get out, please take it slow. We have passed some cars that have slid off the interstate, but luckily there were some people nearby that stopped to check on that driver. We have also seen first responders trying to get through the traffic to get to people who need help. So just keep that in mind. If you are on the road and you see some lights behind you, try to clear a path for those first responders, because it is truly going to be a busy morning for them, as many people are out trying to get to work, trying to get to school, or their various destinations.
Yeah, and JCPS open this morning. No delays or closures right now, but we have a long list of closures, NTI days, even delays coming in from schools like Hardin County schools. We have Bullitt County public schools, even Oldham County schools, either going through NTI or closed for the day. And Marissa, it looks right there. That's explaining exactly why some of those kids are out of school this morning and just driving so slowly. That's really the key out there. Again, what other kind of vehicles have you seen? Have you even seen any kind of snow plows or salt trucks out there?
Not in the path that we have been taking. I did see one when I was coming into work this morning, but not since we have been on the roads in the storm tracker. It looks like there's another car up ahead that needs some assistance. Again, guys, please take it slow if you are heading out. I can only imagine what time these buses are going to be able to get to all the kids on their stops and then get them to school, given how much traffic is on the road and how slow everyone is driving this morning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we are passing a car right now that looks like it spun out. Let me see if I can get it on camera for you guys.
Yeah, that car there in the grassy median there with its hazards on. Oh no, that does not look good. Looks pretty banged up there too. I mean, even Marissa, you were talking this morning how you wanted to go home and grab lunch, and Tawana told you, no, I'm not letting you leave the station to go home in your little car. So I think that's the message we all need to have right now. If you don't have to be out on the roads, just stay home, wait a few hours, because this is going to get better. That's the good news there.
Right. And we were also talking about, shout out to the delivery drivers, because if you don't want to go get food, you're probably going to try to order something. So just kind of be smart, see if there are other options, because if you really don't have to be on the road, or put somebody else on the road, I think that's kind of the key right now, is just to be safe as best you can.
Absolutely. Well, Marissa, thank you so much for joining us. Please make sure Flynn knows, our photographer there who's driving the storm tracker, make sure he knows, he already knows. Be safe. Take care of you all out there, and take care of those other drivers. Take it slow. We are in no rush to get you back. Thank you, Marissa.
Absolutely. No problem, Olivia.
And thank you so much for joining us here for Sunrise Extra. We will keep you updated with all of this. Brian Good will have, of course, his weather blog. He was giving us some live updates from where he lives very early this morning. And our storm tracking team is staying on top of this all throughout the day. So please keep an eye on this storm. And then, of course, we have some more weather coming in this weekend. We'll be tracking all of that, and you can download the Wave Weather app for free on your phone. But for now, thanks so much for joining us here. Hope you have a great day and a safe morning drive.